Would you be a one-watch person? For most of the people watching this video, the answer is almost certainly no. But what if you were forced to pick a single watch? Perhaps you're on a budget and you can't spend thousands of dollars building a collection. Or maybe you'd like to just downsize your life and avoid the clutter associated with accumulating too many possessions. Whatever the reason for deciding that one watch is all you need, the next challenge is picking that one watch, and a challenge it most certainly is. There's no shortage of great options available on the market at every price point, and the price is a great place to start. When people buy anything, more often than not, the first thing that they look at is the price. And for the majority of people, especially first-time buyers, the idea of spending more than a few $100s on a single timepiece is a little bit irrational. When we limit our search to watches around the $500 price point, we greatly reduce the sea of choices down to a much more manageable list. From there, we look at the style and the aesthetics, quality, durability, and reliability, and we consider the features and the specifications. We also think about how the watch will fit into our daily lives and whether or not it will have the versatility we need to be the only watch we own, a watch that we'll wear every day and for every occasion. After all that, we look at the choices we have left and we pick the option that speaks to us on a personal level. We find the watch that connects with us as an individual.
What's up YouTube? I'm Guy and this is the JustBlueFish Watch Reviews channel. Today we are going to take a look at the process that I go through when I'm picking a watch for my collection, and we're going to explore why I think that the Hamilton Khaki Field could possibly be your only watch. Now, yes, I know the majority of us don't, and we certainly won't own a single watch. We all have different degrees of the same mental illness after all, that illness being an obsession with watches. But I'm going to propose 3 reasons why maybe, just maybe, this Hamilton could be your only watch, especially if you're on a budget that is limiting you to a price of around $500. But before we jump into it, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and also I'd like for you to leave a comment, sharing what you'd pick as your only watch if you had to pick something at plus or minus $500 in budget. And I'm curious, let me know what you'd pick as your one and only watch if budget wasn't a factor at all.
The Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic is one of my favorite watches, at any price, and it's a mainstay in my small watch collection. I own a couple of watches that cost a great deal more, and I own some similarly priced and even more affordable watches. But I think this Hamilton and all of the watches in the Hamilton Khaki Field line of watches represent a great value proposition for the consumer and the watch collector. The street price for this watch on the secondhand, pre-owned market or new in box from gray market dealers can fluctuate between $250 and $350, and they can often be found at authorized dealers with a 10 to 20% discount, putting the price around $500. This makes it one of the more affordable Swiss-made timepieces produced by any brand under the Swatch Group umbrella, which includes high-end luxury brands like Omega and, of course, Breguet. And while affordability is a good thing, that alone doesn't make it a good value proposition unless there's also a great deal of quality for the money. The Hamilton Khaki Field isn't the only great value proposition at the $500 and under price point. There's a number of watches that fit that bill. But when you factor in the features and the specifications, and you factor some of the intangibles like style, aesthetic, and versatility, you have a watch that's a triple threat, making it, at least in my opinion, almost perfect amongst its similarly priced competition. Speaking of features and specifications, the Hamilton Khaki Field has great specs. Outfitted with a scratch-resistant sapphire crystal and an 80-hour power reserve automatic ETA-based movement, these are features that were ahead of their time on this watch. You see, it wasn't until relatively recently that we started seeing these sort of specs become the norm for watches below $500 in price. But this watch has been on the market for years, and it has led the way for what a high-quality watch can offer for a reasonable price. The Hamilton Khaki Field also offers 100 meters of water resistance, which is about the most that you ever see on watches not specifically made for diving, outside of a few rare exceptions. For an everyday watch, this is plenty, and it exceeds the majority of competitive options that provide between 50 and sometimes only as much as 30 meters of water resistance. The fit and finish of the watch case and the bracelet is simple, but it's nice. The whole of the watch is finished in a smooth brushed surface with the exception of the high polished bezel and the polished face of the Hamilton signed crown. The bracelet is classically styled on U-shape pivoting solid end links, and it also has a solid milled clasp. These are more features that are ahead of their time. While solid end links have become the expectation, that wasn't the case until more recently, and we still see routinely current production watches from other brands using stamped metal for their clasps. The movement, as previously mentioned, is an 80-hour power reserve version of the ETA 2824. It's known as the H10 series movement. Hamilton was one of the first to offer such a high power reserve in an affordable watch, and many brands are still falling behind and only now starting to catch up. The H10 movement is also incredibly accurate in my experience. FAQs on the Hamilton website state that their non-chronometer movements will have an accuracy of -10 to +15 seconds per day, which is a better rating than similar grade Seiko movements, but in practice, my particular watch is much better than even those specifications. All of the Hamilton watches that I've owned have performed excellent in regards to daily accuracy. The features and specifications of this watch are, again, excellent, and while other brands are finally starting to catch up, Hamilton has been ahead of their time and they still lead amongst the head of the pack. Style, aesthetics, and versatility are somewhat subjective to each individual's personal taste. What someone likes will vary wildly from one person to the next, but I will contend that a simple, clean, legible black dialed watch is among the most versatile designs and will never go out of style. This watch is based on the original 1964 U.S. Department of Defense specifications MIL-W 46374, a template for the layout and the design of military field watches used by the U.S. Armed Forces. The watch we have today deviates from the original specifications, but it still retains much of the original design DNA, making it recognizable as a descendant from its field watch forefathers. Where it deviates from those original design specs is exactly what gives this watch a level of versatility and excellence that the predecessors didn't have. Things like the high polished bezel and the changes and refinements found on the dial, along with the polished syringe handset, give this watch a new character that military watches from prior decades simply didn't have. At its heart, yes, it's still a rugged and masculine tool watch, but it is in a more modern and refined configuration that makes the watch appropriate for all but the most formal of occasions. It dresses up on a black leather strap beautifully, and its metal bracelet maintains a more casual appeal when that's what's needed. It's a design that's classic, recalling a great history and heritage, and at the same time, a design that has evolved with modern styling. Few watches at this price offer the style and aesthetics, along with features, specs, and the fit and finish that can compete with this Hamilton Khaki Field. It's a package with history from a Swiss watch brand that has American watchmaking heritage and tradition. It's a high quality, high value timepiece, and for those reasons and many others, it will always be one of my all-time favorites.
Alright guys, that'll wrap up this video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Now I would like to hear from you. What would be your one watch pick at a price of plus or minus $500? And what would be your pick for one and only watch if the budget weren't a factor at all? Leave me a comment down below letting me know. I'd like to hear your picks. Also, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and please, of course, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Also, check out the description of this video for a list of ways that you can help me out, including supporting me on Patreon and, of course, using my Amazon affiliate link. And a big thanks to everyone that's been helping me out on Patreon and using that Amazon link to buy anything that I've reviewed or anything else for that matter. I do get a small commission from those transactions, and those commissions add up and they help a lot. You see, producing this YouTube content is my full-time job, and all of that extra support is greatly appreciated. Now, with that said, I guess I'll call this one a wrap. I'll go ahead, sign off, and say bye now.